Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Sukkah, new Masechet. Over here, we're going to speak about much of the laws of Sukkot. The main laws, and we're going to see halachot that are based in our Masechet, really revolve firstly around the Sukkah itself. We'll see how to build a Sukkah. What are you allowed to use for the Sukkah? For building walls, for building schach, right? How much dead space you let have, what's the minimum sizes. We're going to discuss all this in our first perek of Masechet Sukkah. Then we're going to move on to also speak about later on the Arba'at Minim, and all the laws about those, right? What are the, again, same thing. What are the form Arba'at Minim? How many do you need? What are the sizes? What makes it pasul? What makes it kasher? And then we're going to move, right? Those are the two main halachot that are mentioned in the Torah, right? Basukot shevu shivat yamim is the sukkah itself, right? Ukachtem lachem bayom harishon pri etz hadar kapot temarim v'anatz etzarvot v'arvei nachal. That's the Arba'at Minim. It's also mentioned in Torah explicitly. The other two mitzvot that we're going to mention now in Masechet Sukkah are not mentioned explicitly. That's going to be the Arava, right? There was a special mitzvah of the Arava in the Bet HaMikdash. And then we're going to speak of the laws of Nisuch HaMayim, all this in our Masechet Sukkah. So jumping into it, our first Mishnah really jumps into the height of the Sukkah, right? So we know we have to sit in the Sukkah. Again, the Mishnah is always based off us having an understanding, a pretty deep understanding of the Pesukim in the Torah. And now, once we know that we need to sit in the Sukkah for 7 days, what is this Sukkah that we're talking about? So, Sukkah shehi givuha me'esrim amma pesula. First statement: any Sukkah that's higher than 20 amot high is pasul, right? So they have actually this wonderful area in Israel that they rebuilt many of these Sukkot. It's a place called Neot Kedumim, and it's a great place to even visit yourselves. I pulled some of these pictures, and you can see over here, right, a massive sukkah higher than 20 amot high. This is, according to Tanakama, this is pasul. Right? Why is it pasul according to Tanakama? Because sukkah needs to have a dirat aray, right? It needs to be a temporary residence. Right, so he says pasul because already made it so big, it already has a level of permanency. So Tanakama says pasul. Rabbi Yehuda machshir. Rabbi Yehuda says it's allowed. Why, according to Rabbi Yehuda? Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, dirat keva ba'ina. According to Rabbi Yehuda, you need to have a permanent residence. Your sukkah should be a permanent, really, and have a sense of permanency, and therefore he allows it even if it's higher than 20 amot. Now the next part of the Mishnah is. Now I spoke about the maximum. Now we're going to talk about the minimum size. Let's say it's less than 10 tefachim high, right? It's really, really small. Less than 10 tefachim off the ground. Okay, so this is pretty small. That everyone agrees that that's pasul. Right? Or the next case is if it doesn't have 3 walls. So we'll get back to this in a moment. The minimum amount of walls a sukkah needs to have is 3. Or if it has more sunlight than shade, then it's going to be pasul. Okay, so what is this exactly? So firstly, if you have a sukkah that doesn't have 3 walls, right? There's only 2 walls. Now, that's going to be pasul, right? You have to have a minimum of 3. When you have to have a minimum of 3, Harabam actually draws out a couple of pictures for us. So I just want to point them out to you. The first upper one is there's literally 3 walls in the shape of a U. That's allowed, right? That's three walls. There's also another case where you could have 3 walls, and that's the second picture. And that is, you always have to remember the rule of if you have anything that's less than 3 tvachim, it's considered lavud. It's considered connected. So if you have 2 walls, and then you take another wall that's only 1 tefach wide, a tefach plus, right? And you stand that plank of wood a little less than 3 tefachim, away from that second wall. So you just created a wall of 4 tefachim. 4 tefachim is considered a makom hashuv, right? We learned this also in Masechet Shabbat. 4 tefachim is considered something of importance, and that's enough to be considered a wall, right? So that would also be allowed. A little just, side point is this is, even though you have, technically 3 walls over here, in something like this, because the third wall isn't so noticeable, you need to have, in addition to this, a door frame, right? A door frame, a doorway to be walking into. Then the third case of three walls is if you had two walls on opposite sides, right? And then in between those two walls, you had a 4 tefach plank, a 4+ tefach plank, and you set that through a little less than 3 tefachim away from that second wall. So over here now, right? You have two perfectly good walls, plus the third one, which is in the middle, right? You have two perfectly good walls that parallel to each other. The third one that's in the middle, that is made up of 4 plus a three tefach lavud, right? Over here also, you would need to have a tzurat petach. Again, according to Rambam, you need to have tzurat petach in both of these cases, just not in the top one, which is 3 total walls. Okay, now the Mishnah continues. Sukkah hayeshana, if you have an old sukkah, was considered an old sukkah. We'll get to that in a moment. But firstly, Bet Shammai poslim, Bet Hillel machshirim. Bet Shammai says pasul, Bet Hillel says that is okay. Right? Ezu yeshana was considered an old sukkah. Kol shesa'ah kodem lahag shloshim yom. If you made the sukkah earlier, more than 30 days before the holiday, Bet Shammai is going to say that's pasul already. Right? But if you made it for the purpose, for the point of the holiday of Sukkot, even from the beginning of the year, right? That would be okay. That would be kasher, even according to Bet Shammai. But according to Bet Hillel, it's okay anyway. And halacha, of course, is like Bet Hillel.